So hi, welcome to the Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with,
Daniel G. Wilson from the band JONCRO.
and we're going to ask some questions today. I'm going to start. So what inspired the creation of the band, and what does the band name mean?
Good question. I'll start with the band name. So the band name is JONCRO is Jamaican Patois, directly translates to vulture, specifically the turkey vultures you see around like the Americas.
Yeah.
Yeah, people always mistake the name as a Jim Crow reference. It's not.
Okay. Okay.
And the start of the band, well, basically I've been wanting to be in a band since I was 16 years old, and nothing happened until I was 19. We started as a 4-piece. 2 members quit before our first show. Like, they played the
Oh my
show,
God.
but they quit.
Oh, okay. I was about to say they just bailed on you like 15 minutes before. God.
That would I wish they had. It would have been a better story.
Oh.
Possibly a better show.
Yeah, actually, yes, because they didn't practice.
Oh my God.
It was just me and the drummer who practiced the songs. Like, we actually memorized the songs too.
Yeah.
So that happened. The drummer decided to stay, Matt. Still playing today. He decided to stay with me, and yeah, we've been playing ever since. And we changed our name. We used to be called Troubadour, but there's already a band from Ontario called Troubadour. They're not active, but I didn't want them. If we gain any traction, I didn't want them to like knock at my door.
Oh.
I don't want to have to be prepared for a fight. So I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then, people don't use Jamaican imagery and patois in like rock music. So I just like JONCRO, and the rest is history.
All right.
Solid. That's awesome. That was a lot, but that was awesome. So congratulations on your newest release, Sakura. Did I say that
Yes.
right? Awesome. How do you feel about the response to it so far?
Pretty good. People are digging it. The only thing I wish is that of course this is mostly, I guess, for later. I kind of am waiting for people to start covering that song, because I'm honestly curious to see what people who have better voices than me would approach it.
Okay.
Wait, so then you should hold like a contest or something, like just to get people to make covers of it, and like the best person gets like, I don't know what the prize would be, but they get something, I feel like that'd be cool. That'd be something to gain traction around it.
I like the way you think.
Thanks.
Gloria has a lot of ideas.
I have a lot of ideas. Not all of them are good, but I do have a lot.
A lot of saying no, but a lot of saying yes as well.
Yeah.
So is there any meaning behind the single name or cover art?
Well, so that's kind of one of our older songs, I guess. We've been playing it for it's been in our repertoire for 5 years.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a live favorite.
Okay.
But we decided to like kind of make the definitive version, which is Sakura. The meaning behind it, so I've always grown up loving like the imagery of cherry blossoms, right? There's something kind of romantic about it. They're beautiful, for example. And I thought the idea, and I've been called a romantic, I guess. So I started, the idea was that like the song is essentially themed after a breakup. So the idea was like, what do you do when you're like, you have lost someone you care about, and you're trying to think about not so much the pain, like the loss, but like the times you had, you're reminiscing about the good times you had and what them not being your life, that gap feeling, So I want to encapsulate that in the song, and the imagery of like, 2 people under a cherry blossom tree. It just fit together very well. And the art, designed by Christine Koss, a friend of mine. She's a fantastic graphic designer. I hit her up and was like, could you make something kind of cherry blossom themed and whatnot? And she did that fantastic art, looks like a painting, and I think it really captures the emotion that the song has. The sun and the moon thing, yeah, that's I like sun and moon imagery, so the idea was just sun and the moon represent the two people, like, you know, the breakup.
Okay.
Wow.
Makes sense.
That's really cool. All right. So can you tell me a little bit about your writing process for this single?
I
know you said it was like it's a 5-year-old song, so if you can't remember, that's okay. You can just make something up.
The writing process for the single, basically I like shoegaze, so the basic writing process, it's not like, in terms of lyrical themes and like the emotion behind the song, I take a lot of time with that, but the actual initial creation of the song, I wanted to write. I was listening to a lot of shoegaze at the time, particularly like post-hardcore bands, like blending them. So there's a band I know from Chicago called Loom. Friends of mine from like back then, still active. And I was listening to them, and I was like, okay, I kind of want to have a song that has a beat like that, like a, you know, a halftime snare on the 3 beat. So basically I just was like going to Matt, like, let's just make a song like this. And I had a fuzz pedal at the time, which I still have. And yeah, I just wanted to make a shoegaze song.
Okay. So
All right.
that's fair.
So can you tell me where your headspace was at while you were writing this song? I know you wrote it all these years ago, so maybe if you just want to talk about like when you were recording it, where you were at, whatever, however you want to take this question.
Emotional devastation.
Okay.
5 years ago, I had some stuff happen in my teenage years, so that was initial inspiration behind it. But then as I've gotten older, like, crap happens in your early 20s, and I had gone through some, shall we say, you know, ends of relationships and first relationships, and I kind of just, you know, I don't like writing bitter love songs. I'm always more interested in, like, you know, like if I love someone or cared about someone in any way, I want to focus more on the fact that, like, what their loss means to me and stuff like that, rather than just like, oh, I wish you died or something like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, the song meant more to me now than it did 5 years ago. And I felt like, you know, in recording it and kind of recording it now and kind of, you know, as I'm also a better musician and everything. And we also had Kieran in the band now, our current bass player. Side note, she's amazing. I felt that now was the perfect time to kind of bring that song into the forefront, and basically emotional devastation.
Okay, that's valid, that's fair. So while listening to the song, what band or artist influences pop out the most to you? I know you mentioned just shoegaze in general. Are there any other bands that you want to mention in that area, I guess?
Failure, definitely Failure. Hum. What other bands were there? My brain is like always I listen to a lot of music for different genres.
That's fair.
Let me see. So there's Hum, Them, Slow Dive, I would say. There's Slow Dive, and obviously Loom, as I had said before. No, I think that's about it off the top of my head that I can remember. Like, I'd probably remember more bands that influenced the song in like another hour or something. But yeah,
you'll DM us later.
Exactly. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So this question should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe the single for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
3 words.
Yeah.
Emotional, intense, loud.
Okay.
Those are very good. Yeah, that's good. You didn't take the easy way out, so that's good. Thank you for that. So is there a certain feeling or emotion you want your listeners to have while going through this track?
Um, a tinge of sadness, nostalgia, and a kind of, you know, like I want them to kind of feel that sense, like when you're in love, I guess, like kind of that appreciation for the time you had with people. It's not just necessarily a romantic relationship, but like even say a very strong platonic relationship, like just a relationship that you had and kind of just remembering the good times rather than just again, the focus on the bitterness. You focus on like, just a contemplation on that,
Mm-hmm. All right.
Good.
So I was scrolling through your Spotify, and so you guys put out a lot of releases in 2020 compared to all the other years that you guys have been a band. Was like the quarantine very like a creative time for you, or did you just have a backlog of songs and finally had time to record them?
It's hard for me to kind of say this without kind of sounding like a self-aggrandizing asshole, but so I'm kind of a bad multi-instrumentalist and kind of like a odd prolific songwriter. Like, basically what happened was we did have songs on the back burner to record, but most of them I'm actually recording now for like the album we're going to be releasing. And I got to do that with Matt, the drums last year, and then Kieran added the bass parts from like a cabin in the woods.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But for what we released last year, basically what happened was we released one EP last year, the first one, which was Toi, which was some songs we had recorded over a 2-year period with our friend Austin of the band The Effins. We had recorded this in his basement, and these songs in his basement, and I was like, yeah, we need to have an EP out. So like, let's compile this and release it, because the song is really good. Libertador is still our most popular single at the moment. And after that, quarantine happened. All of our plans were shot dead, and I went through some emotional issues for about a month. Then between kind of getting antsy and then the George Floyd protest happened, and so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna start recording stuff. So I recorded a song. I recorded Degenerates. Oh, and also my aunt had died around the same time. So basically what happened was I snapped and I just started recording like music in my basement. And so I just started recording stuff, and then with everything just happened all at once. So I recorded Degenerates. I recorded Degenerates. Kieran added the bass. It was this track we had on the back burner that I just kind of made a version of. I recorded a song called Wise River dedicated to my aunt. Then after that, like for every Bandcamp Friday, I would just release music like on a bi-weekly like schedule for Bandcamp Friday. And then after that, I compiled like a bunch of songs and released that as the JONCRO Mountains, and then after that, during the when lockdown here in Canada wasn't too bad, me and Matt came together. We recorded the drum tracks for the current songs you're hearing and the upcoming album, and we recorded a live EP.
All right.
Wow. Busy.
So much content.
A lot of content. My God. Okay. So where do you see the band in the next 5 years? And you mentioned the album twice. What can you tell us about that?
It's called Richmond Station. It's called Richmond Station. The album is basically, I call it my going through shit album.
That's fair. That's valid.
Yeah, Sakura, to give you any indication, the most recent 2 songs we've released, Pasa Pasa and Sakura, are going to be on it. And each of those songs is like, shall we say, me kind of moaning, kind of bemoaning the state of my life.
Yeah.
And it's the basic theme of the album is, what I can say is that it's basically kind of a loose concept record of a person going through stuff and kind of coming out the other end, coming out the other end of it. Richmond, I spent a good portion of my life in Jamaica, and then Richmond is where like the town below the hill where my dad's family's from, and like there was a train station there when Jamaica had a railway station, and basically it ties into the theme. The theme is going back into yourself, examining your emotions, and kind of examining also themes of family. So that's what I can say about that. It's supposed to come out ideally in June, but we'll see.
All right.
Okay. And where do you see the band in the next 5 years?
Well, I based the band off of 5-year plans, like RZA. The first 5-year plan would have ended last year. COVID kind of impeded it, so I'm horrified to make another one. But 5 years, I don't know. I want us to be touring Africa. I want to be touring Latin America in 5 years. I want us to be that band. That like, you know, people are gonna be like, hey, that like I want us to be like that band that's kind of more legendary, I guess.
Yeah.
But if all of that ends up falling through or falling through, then I at least want to be able to, I don't know, be able to play like 1,000 people and just crowd surf in a crowd of 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be sick.
You guys can become one of those bands that people don't have to beg to go to, like South America and Africa and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty sick.
That'd be amazing.
So for the last couple questions, we're actually shift away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Oh God. Well, I'm straight edge. That kind of narrows it down, I guess. Let me see. Pie. Let me see. Pie. Steak, and like specifically apple or pumpkin pie. And sugarcane, Jamaican sugarcane. And plus I could also use it as an escape weapon. If you've ever seen sugarcane. And
your drink?
Cranberry juice. It's my drink of choice when I go to bars.
Cranberry juice is amazing. Yeah. So it's a good drink of choice. So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Oh God, yeah. I'm a huge nerd, so like that's a difficult question.
Yeah.
Oh God. Let me see. I wouldn't say. Let me see. I wouldn't say fictional world. Does that include like a kind of magical realist world? Or
yes.
Oh God. I'd probably pick the world of the Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman. Mainly because I kind of like the idea that of a world where like the West African / Caribbean kind of deity Anansi is actually real. Because I could probably ask him questions. Of course, he'd probably trick me, but it'd be fun.
Exactly. It's good.
So I have the honor of asking the last question, and every single person you've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
People are gonna give me flack for this. Like black, like
me too.
Basically, it's black or purple. Like people are gonna say black's not a color; it's a shade.
Gloria says that.
Purple, then if not black, but yeah, black.
Well, I support both those answers because purple bangs as well.
Purple's a very good color.
It is. So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Yes, actually. Well, we have the next single off the album coming out in another week or two, called Cujo. It's named after a Jamaican maroon hero. So there's that. Also, check out some of our buddies, the band Burner, the band The OBGMs, the Effin. Shout out to Austin for doing a wonderful job with the mixing and mastering of the songs. And I don't know, treat everybody decently. And yeah, raise raise up black art, raise up black art. Outside of that, oh yeah, and give people named Daniel pie.
Solid. Yeah. That's a good one.
All
That's
right.
a good way to end it.
Well, thank you for now. This has been Daniel from JONCRO and Over the Good Noise podcast.